right, what is up, YouTube.com family? It is I, KRAD7435, and I'm here with the one and only, the great Albanian bear, Reshat Madi. He is a current, correct me if I'm wrong, welterweight fighter out of Staten Island, New York, right? And he fights under the DAZN Matchroom boxing stable. And correct me if I'm wrong, you are 12-0, right? Or
Yeah,
13-0?
now, yeah.
Yeah, and that's his current fighting on record for boxing, and he is currently campaigning there to complete his journey to become great in his own current legacy. So if you don't mind, just please introduce yourself to the audience of how'd you get into boxing and what made you continue for the sport.
First start off in self-defense. I never really was a big person when it came down to it. I was height-wise. I was really, really skinny, so I was just trying to focus on mainly just self-defense and trying to protect myself. But eventually, I started learning more and more and competing, doing all that stuff. So it actually made it better for me.
Okay. As far as your foundation of where'd you get your training from your current team that you have now, could you dive in to how'd you learn your fundamentals and how'd you get to the level that you're at right now?
Yeah, I mean, when it came down to it, I like to stay loyal to my team. At the end of the day, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So at the end, we just keep trying to work with what we can do. Fundamentals, I'm still learning today. So there's always more and more to improve into your game. It just, keep working on it. Repetitions to it too, and all that.
Yeah, got it. As far as your I guess your amateur background, could you dive in a little bit deep into that? Because I heard that you ran into guys by the likes of, correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz, maybe possibly Duran Ennis, if I could be wrong.
Well, Jared Ennis, we always been around the national tournaments, so it was we see each other, but never really talked. Ryan, I fought against Virgil. I fought against Teofimo Lopez,
Oh, wow.
Brandon Lee. We all moved around when it came down to amateurs. So it was weird. It's weird because you see him at a different level, but it's kind of like you knew it was gonna be like that.
Yeah, because it feels like high school. You just run into guys that you never would expect that you would end up fighting, and then
yeah.
Fast forward to the pros, it's it's like you guys are all grown up, and it's like your physicalities are just way different now. But the reason why that I asked is because when you did have your well, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you did fight Ryan and Virgil in the amateurs, right?
Yeah. I fought Ryan, Virgil, Teofimo Lopez, Brandon Lee.
Yep.
I pretty much.
Yeah. Of course. How was their skill set then compared to now? When you had fought them.
It's always going to be much different because we're older. At the end of the day, the older you get, the more you're going to be learning. So they're going to be better. Now boxing too. When in the amateurs, you never really trained crazy. Every time it was you're getting ready for a fight, I used to sometimes not even train, and compete. But now and professionally, you have no choice. You have to train. You have to do a full camp.
Yeah. What would be your standard form of training to get ready for your professional fights? What would be the set standard that you would advise a fighter to train when you get into your very first professional fight or get ready for that next fight?
Oh, so in the pros, you have to make sure that you. Yeah, that's me. But yeah, in the fights, you have to prepare from camps. You have to do condition. You have to have a person for conditioning, nutritionist. You have to have all this stuff. In the amateurs, I used to just walk around. I used to fight whatever way I walked around.
What?
I was 49 years old, 100 pounds, fighting 152. So I was always the small person in the bunch.
Holy shit!
But yeah, that was the way we had to do it, you know. But
Oh my
in the
god!
pros, you can't do that now because those guys from 152 they dropped from like 185, 190.
Yeah, yeah. Because that's another question that I wanted to throw at you about your weight cutting.
Yeah,
What would be the proper advice that you would give to any fighter when they're getting ready to, acclimate into a particular weight class? Should they fight at their natural weight, or if they're trying to get down to a weight that they can cut to, should it be like a
and
risk
and
over?
in the amateurs, I believe because obviously in the amateurs, I've done it at a young age. I'm not trying to affect my growth, trying to kill myself to cut weight. So me and my father, we just walked around and we did what we needed to do at the end. We just did what we needed to do, walked around, trained, and we were ready for every fight. But in the pros, yeah, the weight cuts have to do it. I recommend drinking a lot of water and do a lot of running. Conditioning helps with the weight cutting the weight the fastest.
Yeah. Do you feel comfortable fighting at 147? What would you think that your plans are? Going into the future.
So last fight I was fighting at 145. It was supposed to be lower, but a lot of situations kind of messed up. We were trying to fight for this one title, WBC Youth World Title, but they wanted to do super light, not 147, not for the welterweight title.
Really?
Yeah, I was.
Damn.
They wanted me to go down to 140, so I think that's what's gonna happen now. So what? But last fight I walked around, I weighed in at 143, so I can lose that extra 3 pounds.
Yeah. But do you feel better fighting at welterweight or fighting at 140?
Um, they like me at 140. I don't care. You asked the wrong person. I'll fight anybody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it seems like that the stable at Matchroom, it's not as competitive compared to PBC or DAZN or whatever promotional platform. So the reason why that I asked that is because for your goal, to which I assume that you want all the big names. Like what would be like your current path of like where you want to solidify your legacy at?
I definitely think that 140 would start off my legacy. Um, that's the idea. You know, I can make 140 very easy.
Yeah.
It's just me. I like to eat. I like to eat, so for me it's a little bit different. But other than that, hit 140, then eventually go back to 147.
Yeah.
Or you never know in the future. So for right now, we're just gonna go down to 140.
Yeah. As far as your last fight that you had, that opponent really had like a very like dirty, type of fighting style, and
Yeah.
I was there, at the fight for my birthday, but
Oh,
you displayed really really good boxing ability,
thank
and
you.
I think what the thing is that do you feel like that a lot of fighters today are not focusing on the fundamentals and they're too focused on their core conditioning and the how should I say the endurance of how much punishment that they could take, in a fight versus actually mastering, the actual art of the sport.
I think nowadays a lot of people have a different mindset. It's just different styles create fights. This was supposed to be my step up fight. If you guys, I don't know if you guys can believe that. I mean, those guys that I fought that I know didn't have very good records. Those guys were more tougher than the guys that had decent records. It's just all matters is about fights, and they're trying to move me along a little bit faster now than I did earlier. Which I kept telling them I want guys with better records, So this was a good test, and it showed that listen, it doesn't matter if their records to be the same. My job's the same, So I'll make sure I get the wins and all that stuff.
Yeah, because I guess that the question that I wanted to know more about is the level of opposition that you're trying to target. What would be like what would be the next step for you to get closer to the world title so that way we could see you in there with like the top tens or top fives.
Um, First I know it's gonna start off with I have to get some titles in. We're moving up in the rounds, So last fight was supposed to be for a title, WBC Youth World title.
Yep.
That's a big title, no?
Yeah.
So
Yep. To get ranked, right?
yeah, so I can get down in the rankings. I think right now I'm 130 in the world, so I'm still pretty high up.
Nice.
Nah, I'm still pretty high up. I like to be low as possible, man. I want to get my opportunities, and then I told them get your guys, so I'm ready to fight each one.
Yeah, because not a lot of fighters today want to surrender their O to be great, and I think a good example of that would be guys that are being talked in the mainstream that say that, like, they want to fight everybody, but at the end of the day they really don't want to make the fights. So I guess my question to you is, do you have any particular hit list names that you want to go after, in the 140-pound or 147-pound divisions?
It's so weird because they all jump around all over the place. They either want to fight 47 or 40 or 35, so you never even know anybody's real weight anymore.
Yeah.
It's so like stay in one weight class, and that's it. Um, I had no one that comes to mind. Obviously, the one person that everybody at 140 wants to fight is Josh Taylor. You know what I'm saying? So he has all the belts. So um, we're just gonna see what I don't want to know my food spots. I'll like I remind me of Patty the Batty. You ever watch him for the UFC?
Oh yeah.
How
That
he
UFC
gets
fighter.
fat and then lose the weight. That's
Bro, Patty is just one funny ass dude, man. Like he be making me laugh every time I hear him talk.
I don't even understand what he says. He talks so fast.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's probably me, man. I love my pizza. You know, New York pizza.
Oh yeah, man. I
Um,
gotta ask you like about that. How is your struggles in New York City as a fighter?
it's not very good. It's not a fun time when it comes to cutting weight.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um. Do you ever run into any of those fighters out there, like Richardson Hitchens, Bruce
yeah,
Carrington?
they train at the same gym I train at. So,
Really?
yeah,
Oh my god.
we've been together as we've been friends for like 10 years.
Oh really?
Yeah, maybe even longer. No, yeah, probably even longer.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
we've grown up there, man. B Hop, Christopher Colbert, White Chocolate, Nikita, all those guys.
Did you ever run into Shakur out there back in the day?
Yeah, yeah. He comes to the gym once in a while.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
He's another
awesome.
guy known for a very long time too.
Yeah. I just feel like, honestly, like when you like know these guys at like a young age, it kind of feels like a family reunion in a way. Because
Yeah,
it's
especially
like,
I
yeah.
feel like even like Ryan Garcia comes to the gym and once in a
Really?
while and does his stuff. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So my gym is a lot of guys from different places come over and want to do like some sparring. So if you need sparring in New York, the gym is usually where we go, where people come to do some sparring.
Are your sparring sessions more intense, or are they like good to the level of which like you can definitely turn it up 5 levels higher, but like you're not going to try to like go super duper insane?
No, yeah, we go intense. We don't do that.
Oh
We
man.
go there and pretty much they're going there to embarrass you. That's pretty much that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, because
They're gonna go there because people are gonna be sitting there and watching and stuff like that. And your goal each sparring is to kick the shit out of the other one.
yeah,
But and then obviously no recording stuff like that. We want to keep it,
keep everything private.
just after the sparring, it's good stuff. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah, because I went down to the Evolution Boxing Gym down in Florida,
Yeah.
and I surprisingly ran into Joseph Adorno and his brother, and
Okay.
the sparring that they do down there, that's like doghouse rules.
Yeah.
They be going like super hard. Like I be
That's
seeing.
harder than boxing. In boxing, and usually most of the time the gyms that's how sparring is. But MMA is different. MMA they don't do like that. They don't.
No. Yeah, the MMA gyms like they're more peaceful.
Yeah.
They have like a better discipline to like give you the respect in the sparring.
Yeah. That's pretty much exactly how it is. It shows lack of respect in the sparring.
Now, the question that I also wanted to ask, in regards to your management and obviously the promotional stable with a DAZN and Matchroom, what is like the goal that you're trying to get out of them, and how much longer do you have on your? Well, I guess first of all, is that are you signed with Matchroom, or do you have like a certain, time, like a time limit with them, or what?
No, I think we have you know, Connor's gonna end soon. I think we have one or two more fights.
Oh wow,
So it's up to them if they want to resign me. Um, I I think by far, I was probably one of the top prospects they signed. I've been winning easily.
yeah,
I want to see why not. But just you got to go by who seems like they care about you more at the end of the day.
yeah, because I guess that the good thing that I like out of Matchroom is that they don't hold the fighters back to go to different promotional stables to get the big
No,
fights.
most
And
of the time, yeah. Most of the time, it's those guys that sound Matchroom stay with Matchroom.
yeah,
They've been good. For me, I just try to look like the most dominant one out there. So I'm trying to go there, make an impression, and I'd be like, yo, listen, I want to watch this guy again.
yeah, but I guess like my other question is that you don't mind going to other networks, like the PBC or Top Rank, if you want to make that big fight happen, so that way
Yeah.
you can become a world champion and you can start unifying your divisions.
Yeah, it's a lot of people don't realize this. This is a job for us. This is financially a thing too. So it's not just the belts that a lot of the fighters care about. It's about them.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
playing a big fight. You want some big money too. You don't want to fight for nothing.
Because I also wanted to bring up the fact that Andre Ward, he said the other day of how sanctioned bodies operate, and he made a good case to say why sanctioned bodies need to be taken out of boxing. And
Yeah,
I guess I wanted to get your point of view on this, but do you think if boxing was to be operated like a sports league, like the NBA or the NFL or the NHL or etc., would that help the sport better, or do you think that the sport would be better if sanctioned bodies were completely removed and then promoters can be their own bosses, but the fighters are the ones that control their promotional careers?
yeah. Because at the end of the day, if you don't sell tickets, you're not getting no crazy money either.
Yeah,
So it's like you understand the promotional standpoint of it. You do, but it's just like it's hard to say how it would really work because sometimes these sanctions they make no sense. Every time you win a title, you get taxed every time you defend it.
yeah, that's really really
That's
stupid,
that's,
and
that's not fair. Well, how come
yeah,
they?
that's very scandalous too.
So those are situations with it too. So it's like that's why you see a lot of fighters. They're like, okay, I'm gonna forfeit and go somewhere else and defend my title somewhere else, or fight for another title instead of defending it because you don't want to get taxed.
Yeah,
It's,
because
it's like that's robbery. That really is robbery.
I guess a good example of that would be Gary Russell and the Devin Haney situation. I'm not gonna go so deep into it, but just to
Mhm.
simplify it, Devin and his father and his team offered Gary extra money if Gary was able to move up from 126 all the way up to 135 to beat him. And if he were to beat him, you would get more money. And then on top of that, he would have been next in line to fight for potentially undisputed with Teofimo Lopez. And
Yeah,
then and then on top of that, he would have had way more exposure. He would have gotten way more money. And then let's just say if Gary beat Tio at that time frame, he could have dropped all the belts. He could either move back down to 126 or just move up to 140.
yeah.
So, I mean, if you use that blueprint of like a Floyd Mayweather type of business mechanism, you can easily make a lot of money without having a belt. You just have to promote yourself and beat all the top names.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Usually the top names, even the top names will take fights. Regarding like no belts or anything like that. They're gonna do hard fights. So that's why they're already fighting people that are not the same level, and they're
Yeah.
champions. All right. So what makes you think they're gonna fight a top name without all that stuff?
Yeah, because it's like I'll just use guys like Canelo, great example. Like when he fights a guy like Rocky Fielding, he'll get paid millions of dollars to fight somebody that we'd never heard of. But then when he goes up and fights somebody that we don't know that actually ends up exposing him, like a Dimitri Bivol,
Yeah.
then that doesn't make him look any better
Yeah.
because
I knew Bebo was gonna give him a tough problem. My father kept saying, I swear, my father kept saying Bebo was gonna beat Canelo. And
yeah,
usually when he says that stuff, I'd go put my house on the line, because I don't know how he does. He hits it.
yeah, but that's insane. But I guess like the thing is that for matchmaking, do you have a hard time getting like opponents, or do you have like an easy time trying to get like the names that you really want?
It's they offer me a guy at this point right now in my career. They offer me the guy, I'm gonna take it. I don't even look at it, So I don't watch the guy's tapes. I never watch my opponent's tapes. Even if I know I'm fighting him, I'm not gonna take it. I'm not gonna go and be like, listen, whatever. Let me look
Yeah.
at him first. Yeah, I'll take him. And then the commission says no.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. I'm like,
They
you guys are the ones
they
offering.
get involved to say that you can't fight somebody?
Yeah, yeah. The commission
So
will
like
be
so like that's
New York, and Vegas are probably the worst
oh
commissions.
my god, that's so effing stupid. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
So in
that is some,
Vegas, they offered me 12 guys. Right? They offered me 12 guys, and they're all winning records: 11-1, 14-3, 20-7, winning records. Like that shows a lot of experience. The commissioner goes and tells me that I have too much experience for them.
that is some stupid shit.
I,
Cause
I
it's like
was 9-0.
no. Get this. I used to wrestle in high school, and like high school wrestling is very similar to amateur boxing, where
Yeah,
you don't have a choice in who you face. But when you get into them tournaments,
yeah,
that's all smoke. All smoke is
yep,
welcome. So
yep,
no matter what the competition or the skill level is, that's you. You have to bring your dog to the tournaments. And even when you get up to the Olympic level or even professional level, however, if they ever have that, but
yeah,
that's like pure free market level competition. Like everybody's level is not the same. Everybody just goes at it, and I just find
yeah,
that so insane that you told me that, because now like it actually makes me think that certain guys that we've been hearing on the mainstream, they've been brought to a point where things are not like set in stone with how the matchmaking is set up.
yeah,
And like it just feels so weird, because it's like I guess like a great example would be Cameron Duncan from Top Rank, when he
yeah,
talked of like about like the whole thing about no black fighters, when he said that Top Rank, they have like certain politicized dilemma to make sure that they have certain styles that are matched up with their fighter stable, and
yeah,
primarily they keep their protected fighters away from dangerous styles like a black American style fighter. And he said that like the reason why that they do that is because they want to make sure that their fighter always keeps on winning, and then when it
yeah.
comes to the point, you know
It, it's hard to say. I tend not to bring the politics to it, but I don't believe in that. That doesn't seem true. At the end of the day, they always want to test you out. The promoters are testing you out. That's what it is. Especially in the beginning the process, they give you 2, 3 bad fighters, but then they're gonna try to, get a tougher guy, just to see how you're gonna come out. If you're able to prove yourself in those standpoints, they'll resign you. That's how those big promoters work.
yeah, because
They're not trying to hide you from some a certain, they're not gonna try to baby you. Pretty much like that. Unless you're a big name and they
well,
really like you, then
I
then
was
they'll
just
try to like dodge some guys that think it's gonna be too much of a risk.
yeah, well, I was just gonna bring up like a great example with Shakur Stevenson, when
Yeah,
he wanted Oscar Valdez to get his title, and then Top Rank decided to set up a fight between Oscar Valdez and Emmanuel Navarrete, and then they quickly backtracked that and tried to say that fight was never going to happen. But Oscar Valdez's team was wanting to get that fight, knowing that Navarrete, he's a 126 pounder, he's not a 130 pounder. But
They're trying to make extra money. The
yeah,
core fight went well for him. They know that.
yeah,
It's not the promotion that they that. It's not. Maybe it's De La Hoya too. Who knows? Because I'm not with them. But it's probably they're stable. That was like, no, I don't want that fight because everybody knew that Chico was gonna beat him.
yeah. Well, how would you view it? Let's just say if you're at the top, and let's just say Keyshawn Davis, he's right next to you, and you're gonna go for your IBF belt or whatever, and Keyshawn Davis he goes for the WBO, and you want to unify it with him, but Top Rank tries to come, behind closed doors and say, hey, we can give you this fight, but we're going to try to make like a blackball deal to you to say if you beat Keyshawn Davis, you got to come to us, and then they're gonna try to slide in fights that you never really said yes to. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, they can't force me to do nothing that I don't want to do. That's pretty much how it is, and but especially in boxing. Well, my standpoint, if they have to get my approval, there's a lot of stuff that you got to sign to get that happening. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
there's a lot of stuff on my end that I have to make sure that it goes well.
yeah,
So I have to sign away my life pretty much every fight a couple times. You know, you have to sign the bout agreement, you have to sign certain things. So
yeah.
um, they can't really force you to do fights you don't want to do.
Can you explain the business of boxing like a little bit deeper? Like how did you start out your career, and what are the prerequisite requirements to have a good stable team behind you to make sure that every fight that you make is safe, effective, and
Yeah, I have.
doable?
Listen, I can say because my father's one of my main coaches. So he tends to be like my lawyer. All the guy, he's the one that sits back and he's the one that kind of talks about it with them. Me, I'm just the fighter. I have a manager. I have my other coaches and stuff like that too. So once they send me a guy and like that, I send it to them and I let them talk about it, um, and let them work with it. Because at this point, my goal is to just fight.
Yeah, because I guess that's the problem with some of these fighters that don't take control of their careers. They let their promoters and the management do the job for them, but then, but we obviously know, like what happens, in that scenario when you let somebody take advantage of you.
Yeah,
Um, that usually ends up going down south, and then you see some of these fighters that get financially, screwed over for the pay that they deserve in the
yeah.
first place. So I guess the big question is like in the future, would you rather become your own promoter so therefore you can make your own money off the back end, and then leading into those big fights, you don't have to have, that cut taken away from the promotional stable?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't pay nothing to the promoter. The promoter pays that. So his job is pretty much to sell the fight.
Yeah.
And that's that point. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell. At the end, I want to fight. I want to get the titles. That's my job. Other than that, everybody
Yeah.
else's job is to share different things. My
I
job is.
mean, like that's like a good mindset to have, but I think like I think eventually like once we start seeing you in there with like all the top names, like I'm gonna push for you to say that I want to see you in there with a guy like Brandon Lee, or a guy like maybe a guy Regis Prograis or Subriel Matias, Gary Antoine Russell, all those guys that we obviously want to see you in. That's obviously going to come to the business table one of these days, where Eddie Hearn, he's going to have to put in that big money, and then you're going to have to be like, look, give me these guys, or else I'm going to have to go over to the PBC and then handle like my business with them.
Yeah,
So,
that's the worst case scenario. Usually, but most of the time, they get their piece of the pie.
yeah. Do you ever plan to go over to those networks in the future, or do you just want to stay with Matchroom forever? Or
Time will tell. You can't really, guy,
yeah,
because you never know even if you want to re-sign me. So uh,
yeah, yeah,
if that happens, then I have to do what I have to do. But overall, we've been doing pretty well with Matchroom. So, and
yeah.
for me, loyalty is what matters the most.
What's the hardest thing that you go through in boxing as far as training wise? Like is it more about the mental, stress or the physical stress?
It's tough because you're working twice out. You're working out twice a day, you know, and plus you're changing your diet, so that's not very fun. Overall, all those stuff is just, they have tough situations and you have to deal with it. But weight cut's not fun. And you still, you know, you do this scan, but you're in your mind, you're like, you know what, you still have 50-50 chance of you getting your ass whooped.
Oh my
So
god.
after each fight, you go in there like, listen, all this work could, you know, still not come out the way you want to.
Yeah, do you focus more on your defensive abilities so therefore you can box more rather than bang it out?
Yeah, I'm not a knockout artist. I tell everybody this. Everybody thinks I'm still like this knockout guy, even though I hurt everybody each fight. I'm not a knockout artist. I'm
Yeah.
more of a boxer. So I want to do that. I want to move around. I want to make sure that you know, I'm a hard target to hit.
Yeah, because you're kind of in that same boat with this other Puerto Rico fighter that I interviewed. His
Mm-hmm.
name is Luis Melendez. He'll be fighting on the Gervonta Tank Davis fight card, and
Okay.
he made a good point to me to say that why bang it out with somebody when you could just make them miss a lot, because it's like, that's what boxing's supposed to be. And
Yeah.
you know you
People
know
don't like it though. People like wars.
yeah. Like, people think boxing's like, like about knockouts, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's about the pure artists of the sport
Yeah.
and the masterclass work. But as far as your fighting style goes, you're more of a pure boxer, I assume, right?
Yeah. That's how I feel. Everybody thinks differently. You know, so
Yeah,
people think that I go in there and I'm gonna rip somebody's head off. I'm just gonna whip their ass.
yeah.
That's what I'm paid to do. Give somebody an ass whooping.
Um, as far as your fighters that you looked up to in the past, who are those fighters that you have looked up to, and what made you be influenced through them?
I was always um Julio Cesar Chavez Senior fan. That was
Wow.
that was my favorite guy. You know, he's the one that that's the guy I always looked up to. That's why you see a lot of the body shots that I throw. But
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah,
so he's probably one of the guys that I've looked up to. Other than that, you know, I haven't really been looking up to anybody else. I think all those guys now at that weight classes, you know, and so y'all, I like this guy. Man, I don't care for nobody, man. I'm all about me.
yeah, because I'm definitely in that same ballpark. Like because I'm obviously, Black and Puerto Rican, but I
Mhm.
love, all the Puerto Rican fighters. The Black American fighters like Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Joe
Yeah,
Louis, Jack Johnson, Floyd Patterson, Tito Trinidad, Carlos
yeah,
Ortiz, Wilfredo Gomez, Wilfredo Benitez. The list goes on, and I think honestly, like those guys back in the day really made us like come back and say, wow, you know what? We really wish boxing was like consistent on a, weekly or day-to-day basis where you're
yeah,
constantly getting good fights and you're not seeing anybody duck the smoke. Everybody should be fighting everybody, on a mandatory basis. And I guess like for you personally, do you feel like, at the state of boxing right now, do you feel like that the best are not constantly fighting each other, or do you think that's like, starting to come back to its old roots?
it's always gonna be like an financial reason why they don't fight each other. It's not really because of the legacy and all that stuff. They care about what the money is. That's what matters the most at the end of the day for them. But I think now that they're going after it, now they're going to get big fights. It's tough because some situations work differently. Like Josh Taylor unified with Ramirez, and that was a sick fight. That was a crazy fight. Uh,
Yeah,
so now I do believe that they're going back in there. They're unifying a lot of stuff. Just look at you have Charlotte Brothers actually just unified.
yeah, Jamel Charlo. And
Um, he just unified, and that was a sick fight. Him,
then
there's a,
don't forget Devin Haney.
yeah, Devin Hayes is gonna unify now. I still have Kambosos unified, so
Yeah.
he has the bigger belt. So he's the unified belt. He has all the belts.
So wait, you think Cambosos is undisputed?
Yeah, he has the WBC belts. around
Yeah,
his
but
waist.
but wait a minute. Like I thought these belts don't mean anything. So shouldn't you like beat the man to be the man, right?
He beat the man that beat the man. So for him, Devin Haney didn't beat nobody to get that belt. They
So
they gave him that belt. Come
so
on.
so like what happened with Lomachenko not honoring the mandatory for Devin?
Hey, he lost at the end of the day. He has no belt on him anymore. So for him, they
Yeah,
they, they gave him what was it called at WBC?
the franchise
The
title to get
franchise
away from
title,
Devin
right?
Haney because
The franchise is bigger than the regular world title.
yeah, but the franchise title is not a title; it's a political status to keep you
Yeah,
away.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's why.
He still has a WBC youth. He has a WBC title around his waist. So to
All right.
me,
Well,
he has all the belts.
after June 4th, we'll find out who's at the real undisputed world
Yeah,
champion.
I think I have Dayton winning. Devin winning. I have
Okay.
Devin Haney winning. I think he'll win. So then, if that's the case, that he's still, you know,
And then Devin can throw the WBC franchise belt to the trash and
get rid of it.
yeah.
He's not. He's not. He's gonna keep it. But yeah, but it's
Yeah.
still he's gonna have all the belts. The
Yeah.
prestigious belt that everybody wants is Ring Magazine. Anyway, so
I
there's no
thought the ring.
interim Ring Magazine champion. There's only one belt in the Ring Magazine, and even that's hard to get.
I thought the ring magazine's like a lineal status.
It is, but it's not anybody can get the Ring Magazine belt. So
Oh.
that's the hardest belt to get.
Okay. So I mean, that's only rare just to give it out to people that have beat everybody in the division. But yeah.
But like I said, Devin Haney got that belt. To be honest with you, he was selling matchroom with me. So I known him. I know him for a long time. He's a good guy at the end of the day. So but now they give
I
out
mean, we'll
boxing
find
stuff.
out. We'll find out June 4th. We will find out June
Yeah,
fourth.
I, I'm not a hater of Devin Haney. I like Devin. I like Devin. I have nothing to hate. I have nothing to hate anybody for. So I hope he does well. But those guys, man, they can talk.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, in regards to your nickname, the Albanian Bear.
Yeah,
How'd you get that nickname?
that's another story. That's like, I was always the mad dog when I was younger. I was never really. There was never really. I just had always Albanian flag on me when I was fighting and doing all that stuff. But when I was fighting, I was a little more not stylish, not more technical. I was going there to try to kill you. But that switched up. I got a little older. I started learning more of the fundamentals, and they were like, "Yeah, let's go!" And they just like split
Albanian
it
Bear.
out. Albanian Bear, and
Yeah.
it stuck. And then people started calling me in. I'm like, I guess I'm the Albanian Bear now.
Would you ever honor a fight out in Albania someday?
I do. I do. I want Eddie. We talked with it, me and Eddie, and we've considered it. So you never know. But I tell them if they do it, we have to do it in the summertime. We can't do it in the wintertime.
Are there or I was gonna say like were there any like previous Albanian fighters that had a good boxing legacy or
Yeah. Elvir Marici, Robin Kaznichi,
okay.
Florian's doing good for Marku.
Yeah.
So the names, Albanian names, are slowly going up there. So
Yeah.
hopefully I get to be part of that history.
Yeah, because that seems very similar to like any of the Middle Eastern type of fighters out there. But
Yeah.
I just figured that I asked that because you seem to have like the highest ceiling to put that ethnicity on like on the boxing political
Yeah.
stage. And I guess the thing is that do you feel like that when it comes to fan bases in boxing, should you be more contingent to your own ethnic fan base, or should you keep expanding globally so that way more people
No,
can know you?
yeah, of course. You want to be globally. That's the one thing. You can always rep a certain country that you're from. You can always rep that, but it doesn't mean that you're going to only impress them. When I fight, I want to impress everybody. I want everybody to be there and be like, listen, that was the fight that I wanted to watch.
Yeah, because I personally think that you should always keep expanding wherever you
Yeah.
fight, but never let the people try to like bury you from like other fan bases that you're trying to reach out to. But
Oh, yeah.
like I would like probably say like for example like if Shakur Stevenson keeps fighting in Atlanta, Georgia for all the black people that are out there, that's good. But at the end of the day, like you out of like let's just say Carson, California, you eventually want to see him out there one day or somewhere down in Texas or somewhere
Yeah.
out in
No, of course.
yeah
I like to fight in New York because all my family's here. That's just me, my preference.
yeah
Um, they want to fight where they want to fight. That's at the end of the day. That's where they want to agree to. If they chose me, they told me to fight. Either you want California, you want New York. I'll tell them, give me New York. I want New York better. So I guess it's certain preferences in which they like more. Maybe they have a couple more family uh, in Georgia than they do anywhere else.
yeah. Do you have any preferred venues that you want to fight like somewhere one day?
Oh yeah, obviously I want to fight in Albania. That's
Yep.
obvious right there. But for me, other than that, I fought everywhere already. I fought in Staples Center. I fought in Vegas. I all over the place. So venues at this point don't really matter to me.
Nice. Yeah, because I read because I definitely want to see you like on a big card one day, and like like you can like be on that same path as like any other fighter that's trying to get their name out there. And I was just curious like like about like the whole venue situation because it's like
Yeah,
depending on what promotional stable that you're with, they just kind of put you anywhere. And I was thinking like was that more of like a preference thing, or that's something that you work out with at the
yeah. Usually it's you want to fight in this card. I'm like, yeah, sure, I don't care. So for me, I didn't, I wasn't really picky. I was just like, let me get these fights out of the way and hopefully try to build some fan base over here.
nice.
That's pretty much how I was. And now I'm like, keep me in New York. I want to stay in New York.
Yeah. Like what's like the hardest thing in boxing that you tend to go through like before and after fights?
Um, just a lot of the times it was, my hand tends to swell up each fight, and I try to give it some rest. Um, it's trying to stay like clean and healthy. That when it comes down to it. I want to make sure that my body's back to how it was because usually after these fights and these camps, it's always not smooth. Um, it's not easy. It's not fun. You go in there to it's like a hard 9 to 5 day of work. Really, that's how it is.
Yeah.
So you just try to stay healthy and bounce right back. You don't want to take a break. It's better off to get those fights out of the way.
Yeah, because it seems like some of these fighters, especially fighters that are like not staying active enough, they don't really look as sharp coming back. And
Yeah,
I figure that I ask you that because like, what's your standard like window to get back in the ring as soon as possible?
I believe September. I think we'll be back. So we're just waiting right there, taking a little break now, and
Okay.
bounce right back. So I listen to that fight. I had eight rounds of 8 rounds easy work. I won 8-0. And I hurt him a couple times my last fight. So we're just you know trying to bounce back and get better.
What's the next set of fights that you're trying to aim for? Like, are you trying to go for like 10 rounders or?
Yeah, I believe the next fight will be 10 rounds.
Okay.
And for a regional title. So
Good.
we're just waiting on it. Those little titles will bring me down in the rankings, and hopefully fight for a real one soon.
Yeah, because like 140 is very supremely loaded, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of fighters out there like Brian Norman Jr., Subriel Matias,
yeah.
everybody, and
So it's tough. Listen, Well, I say 135 to 147. That's probably the most stacked weight classes out there right now.
Yeah, because like heading up into 154 is like pretty much like a dead end zone, but it's still like a deadly division.
Yeah.
So
Oh, of course, 100%.
yeah. What's the highest weight class do you believe that you can get up to before it's all said and done?
Before I retire,
Yeah.
um, probably 54. I would
What?
say, I
154?
54 probably say is probably like the lowest, the highest I'll be.
Dang.
Listen, 160 is big, man. Those guys are big.
I
I'm
mean, I was
not
like
very big.
I was taller than you, like when I first met you, but yeah, like I can definitely see it. Like your body's more built like a middleweight or like super welterweight.
Let's say, Walter, so 160 middleweight. That'll be too big for me.
Oh
That's too
yeah,
big.
too big.
Yeah, I'm next to Canelo, man. I see Triple G in person. He's a lot bigger than me. So, uh,
Damn.
yeah, 154 is probably the most I'll probably do, and then
Yeah.
I call it quits after that.
Yeah. What's the hardest punch that you've taken in a boxing fight? Like, what's like the punch that
And
not a lot of fighters should run into?
listen, but it's tough to say because I guess there's always gonna be one person that's gonna hit you and catch you. I feel like I haven't been caught in a crazy way yet in my pro fights. I got hit, my debut, and there's some shots that I shouldn't have got hit with, but um, in fights, I just try to tell everybody try not to get hit, man. That's the main rule. That's you don't want to get caught. You don't want to get hit too many times. This sport is meant to be not a race.
Yeah.
Slowly get there.
Yeah. Don't like don't try to move it fast, and then
Yeah.
everyone's hyping you up
I
like
say
you're gonna
avoid
be
wars. Avoid the wars.
yeah. Yeah, because I'm definitely seeing some fighters out of the Matchroom stable where they're trying to like be something that they're not, and I feel like eventually some of those fighters are gonna get smoked by somebody that we don't know.
Yeah, I try to lose it.
But
I
I
move through
guess
it.
at the like, I guess other question that I want to ask is like, do you eventually see yourself taking those bigger risks where you're gonna end up being in that type of classical war one day?
Uh, there's a lot of fights that are different styles, and sometimes you have to put your foot down and go back at them and kind of react the same. Sometimes you can't really move around and box people. So it's good to learn all these different kind of styles. Um,
Yeah,
as that's how it's usually going to happen. Sometimes they're going to force you to go to war,
yeah,
and you have no choice. So even if I have to go to war and do it, I'll do it. I'm always prepared for it. So I'm down for whatever.
yeah. Because I believe you're a Orthodox fighter, right?
Yeah.
All right, but do you ever prepare for like a guy that practices on switch hitting like Jaron Ennis or somebody to the level of like they're gonna try to walk you down and try to make you work for those shots?
No, I mean, you always have to get ready. Certain camps are meant for certain people. So I always tell people that. Um, you just got to get ready for it, and praying to God always is a good option too.
Yeah,
So um, I always put trust into my camps, and it's been good so far. So I tend to say my favorite quote, and it's if it's not broken, why fix it?
yeah,
So it's been good so far, and I'm gonna keep doing camps the way I'm doing it now, and hopefully keep seeing success.
yeah. Because I like how you prepare yourself, in the gym. Like like
Yeah.
you bring yourself to a level of which like you're always ready. And I think like eventually like your scaling ceiling will be a lot higher once you get up to the world title level, because like you're constantly challenging like yourself versus like not wanting to like take on like the toughest challenges. And as long as you're keeping yourself sharp and being sharp with guys that we obviously don't know yet, but eventually let the wins themselves could age very well further into the future.
Yeah. I mean, I always say like this, especially to the younger guys. I always say, don't sign long term, and you know, make sure it's not a race. Don't try to push yourself over to a limit. That I see some of these guys they're jumping up to 10 rounds already, and they only have like 1 or 2 fights, and I'm like, don't rush it too much. Don't rush it too fast. Get that experience in first, and that's how it
Yeah,
should
that's how
be.
I'm seeing some of these guys out here trying to do that, and
Yeah,
I
and
feel
it,
like,
it ends them pretty fast.
yeah, yeah. I guess the final question I'll ask before we get out of here is, what influence do you want to bring to your audience at the end of the day before it's all said and done?
You know, my audience tends to be a little bit younger. Um, and they tend to start off and do the right things. 'Cause I had a video that came out when I was 13. It was a project video when I was 13, and it kind of like influenced a lot of people. And that's the thing I want to do at the end of the day. I want to influence people to, be great. And just when you put your mind to things and make sure that it shows, the results will show. So I want to just kind of have a little bit of influence and bring people to the right path.
Nice, that's awesome. Well, I have to say I appreciate this conversation. We have to do this
Same
again,
here.
and I hope you smoke your opponent come September. And
Absolutely.
you know, all glory to your career. So,
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
do you have any final words to say to anybody before we get out of here?
Just keep focused, keep doing your thing, and there'll be a good fight coming in September.
Alrighty. Well, I appreciate it, my brother, and
Thank you so much.
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, same here. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Take care.
Thank you very much. Peace. Alrighty, we are done. Thank you guys for coming through. Salute to the Albanian bear Reshat Mati, coming out of that Staten Island, New York, and he said it from his own mouth. He will be back in the ring, hopefully by September. So can't wait for that. That's going to be a very, very interesting 2022 leading into a 2023 out of him. But yeah, man, I enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Mr. Mati, and can't wait to see him. Ghost, can you show us where you can win this franchise title from? You have to enroll to get it. It's a title which you get the shot at the WBC title, as the case when Vlad won. Yeah, uh, that's why that I didn't want to like go any further with that. But then on top of that, see, but the thing is that I already know like what people are gonna say, but I try not to dive into that a little bit too deep. But I try to insert it to say that that's not how it's supposed to be intended, and then people try to like run it out to say, well, it is like a real title, blah blah blah. Like, no, it's not. But then again, I try to keep it on topic because I try to keep everything professional. But Ghost also said Ring Magazine is not a belt. It's not a status you can trace like they say it is. It's not the hardest belt. It's a magazine. Yeah, yeah. Like you're right on point with that, Ghost. That's why that I was kind of like a little bit confused, with that statement. But either way, I mean, the Ring Magazine doesn't really mean anything. It's just a lineal status, or it's just a magazine promotional belt. That's really what it is. It's not really like a real title. And then Ghost said he knows like what he did. Yeah, like like Devin did everything correctly to to get his title at 135. So I wasn't gonna go any further to say, well, look, Devin got the title after he beat Zaur Abdulwalev, and then Lomachenko decided to say, okay, I'm not gonna fight you. And then he decided to fight Teofimo Lopez after he vacated the title for Devin. And then Teo took the same franchise belt status where, by the WBC's rules, it is non transferable. So there should be only one franchise belt per division for one fighter. But for some weird reason, like it seems like almost everybody can have a franchise belt. It doesn't make any damn sense. But it's only given to those that are able to get it. So, yeah, I just find that really, really weird and just very confusing why some people try to like mix words for that. But either way, thank you, Mr. Monty. I appreciate it. Great session that I had with him. And I'm definitely gonna chop it up with him. Me and him, like talk to each other, behind closed doors. Like I text him. So yeah, he's a good person. I enjoyed talking with him, and that was a good interview. But please share the video, like, subscribe if you guys haven't watched this video yet. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it. This is Kieran Rodriguez signing out, and salute to the mighty LDBC. All right, I'm out of here, y'all. Thank you.